Good morning and afternoon and evening. It is Curt and Jen, and this is the Curt and Jen in the Morning pod/videocast. How you doing?
Happy Monday. How was your weekend? And how are you feeling after daylight saving time ending?
Oh, we're going to get to that. Because like everybody in the world, I believe the last poll showed 110% of people would like to see daylight savings gone away, saving.
You know what I learned well, here's a question. How many people, when they're listening to this show at the very beginning, clap at that clapping place? And I only asked that because one of our loyal listeners, Lily, was saying she cannot even resist. Like when they're listening in the car, only she listens to us sped up.
How does she listen to us sped up?
She speeds us up, so her clap comes very quick.
Oh,
she told me.
She just advances.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I can't do that because I'm pushing buttons and stuff, but in my head, I'm clapping with you.
Okay.
Okay, we'll find out. So yeah, daylight saving time, which this one, the fall back is not so bad. You get the extra hour of sleep.
Right.
So that is good.
But it still screws you up, and there's so much darkness in our world now.
Darkness. We're going to talk about that. Also today, what ways to make your kid more resilient. That's important.
Very.
All right. When's the last time that you made a new friend?
Well, I have ways that you can make a new friend.
Okay. We asked on Friday for you to share what candy best describes your partner and or which best describes you. Right. It turns out that Jen...
I learned a new term in the dating world.
Okay.
Because Jackie, my roommate, taught me. And I'm going to teach you, too, in case you don't know.
I'm already a little bit nervous about this.
You should be.
And we also have the 2024 Word of the Year all coming up today on the big program.
It's very exciting.
All right. So...
hopping right into it. Just a quick recap.
Of the weekend in sports and the PN Dub. Cougs. So WSU had a bye. Nothing to say there.
Huskies beat USC.
Yep. The Hawks. Seahawks. Close one overtime. They lost to the Rams in overtime. Bad weekend for my Kraken. They lost both games on Saturday to Ottawa, Sunday, yesterday to Boston, and both were shutouts.
They didn't score one.
You have to go back a little ways to find the last time that the Kraken scored a goal. I think it was last Thursday.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, it's not good. And the Sounders match yesterday against Houston, that ended up in a tie.
Yep.
A tie.
Okay.
Also not that exciting. All right.
Friday night, you had a big win.
Oh, yeah.
What happened? Did you and Dana,
clap? Did I get the clap?
Oh my gosh. Terrible. I know where you're going with this. I forgot about this.
I'm holding this up so the people that are watching can see, and we'll describe it to everybody else. What does that say?
It says that
certificate of recognition
rewarded
to the
Kruse Chili for second place in a chili cook-off. And there was a lot of chili that we needed to try. So let's back up. The Kruses finally made it to a happy hour at the All's house. I go to happy hour
every day.
Nearly every day. Nearly every Friday. It started during COVID when Carrie and Randy did a driveway happy hour. Right. A no touch, no contact thing. And they've continued it. Which
was great, by the way. They're fabulous hosts, and they made some great, what was that, punch? It was sort of a peach?
Creamsicle.
Creamsicle, that's what it was.
Creamsicle, yumminess.
It was delish. But before we get away from the important part of this story.
Yes. It was a chili cook-off.
It was a chili cook-off, and we came in second, but it was a dominant second.
A dominant second, yes. And here's the reason. Because you put bacon in your chili.
Well, it didn't say you couldn't put bacon in your chili.
No, it was delicious.
That was Dana's idea. She's chopping up bacon. And I was like, what do you say? This going to go in the chili. I was like, oh, man.
The only person that beat you were Corey and Eric, who put smoked pulled pork in their chili.
That's cheating. That's cheating for sure.
One might say bacon in your chili is cheating,
too. Thank you for all the accolades.
Good job.
We appreciate it.
Good job, Curt Kruse.
Well, it's all Dana, just so you know.
Good job, Dana.
I just sat there and looked pretty. That's my job. Now you...
Oh, I had big news over the weekend, too. My family had a big win. Macy, my youngest, passed her driving test.
She is out on the roads and...
No. That's not true because she's passed it.
Oh, okay.
But she's not 16 yet. So as soon as she's turned 16, we're going down to the Department of Motor Vehicles to actually get the license. But that's not until May. But let me just tell you a quick story on what happened before she took the test.
Yes.
Pat and I, hot firefighter boyfriend Pat and I, dropped her off for her test. And as we're leaving the parking lot, I get a call from her. And it's 5 to noon and her test is at noon.
Okay.
She's like, hey, Mom, I'm wondering if you and Pat could please go back to the house and get my learner's permit.
Oh, wow.
That's a good way to start your driving test, wouldn't you say?
She doesn't know yet that, you need to, she's going to have to keep a license on her all the time.
I know it.
And for now, yes.
Anyway, they gave her some grace, which was nice. They switched some appointments around, and she ended up passing it. I got to spend the day with Pat, the evening with friends. We missed you at Emery's, you and Dana. Emery's restaurant in like the Everett area. We saw the Dog Tones band.
Good band, yeah.
Yesterday, I went to a memorial. And yes, you might say, Jen, didn't you just go to a memorial? Yes, I did. For a coworker. This was for another coworker. It was the first general manager I ever worked for, Shannon Sweat.
I didn't know that they had. I got to just for the history of things. I got to Starwood 1.5 in 2002, and Shannon Sweat. He was the GM. He had just left then, or he was still there.
Probably. Well, he might. I can't
Rob
remember.
was there. So yeah. So anyway, but he was like a legendary great guy, I understand.
Legendary in Seattle radio. Like he and his wife died. They've been together for was it 67 or 68 years?
Wow.
Met in middle school.
Wow.
You know what? I'm going to pause and tell this story. It won't take too long.
Okay.
But I was reading his obituary, and he grew up, there was some in Utah, but then some in Eastern Washington area, I believe it was. And he lived above the general store that I think their family ran. Anyway, he had a horse, rode his horse all the time, met Janet in middle school. Sold his horse as soon as he was able to drive so he could buy a car and drive Janet to school every day. And he washed his car every day, every morning before he went to pick her up.
Wow. A lot of time on his hands.
No, that's chivalry. That's old-fashioned chivalry is what that is.
And I think he was probably a great guy. I know he was a great guy, but I'm going to say he might have also got the car, just traded the horse for the car, so he'd have a way to get around too.
Well, maybe, but I think it was very sweet. Out in the back seat.
You can't make out in the back of a horse.
Listen, when I go to memorials like this where there's such great people that have passed on, it just makes me want to be a better person. They talked about both Janet and Shannon, because if you knew Shannon, you knew his wife Janet.
Right.
The kindness that they showed this world, the respect that they showed people, the brilliance that they brought to the world. I mean, just so much, so many. Awesome. I just want to be a better person just listening to all the things.
Yeah, I hope when I go that people will say nice things and not, he talked on the radio one time.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of memorials.
Where was I at? Was this
I
don't know if I played that already. Yeah, Quincy Jones has passed away. What needs to be said about Quincy Jones?
He's mega.
Yeah.
Mega.
And one of the greatest things he ever did was having his daughter Rashida Jones, who's super hot. Sorry, that was bad. I know. That was bad. I know. Let's talk about what he actually... Music Titan, his legacy, he produced Michael Jackson's Thriller. You probably know that. He wrote prize-winning film and television scores, including The Color Purple. He collaborated with everybody from Frank Sinatra and Ray Charles and hundreds of other recording artists. He passed away last night at the age of 91. And he was surrounded by his family there at his home in Bel Air. You may not know this. I just found this out too.
Wait, did they say, is it just old age? I mean, he's 91. They didn't say? I don't know. Okay. So, okay.
Yeah. But he lived, the Jones family, I should say, was in the Seattle area for a while. They moved to Bremerton in 1943. So I don't know how old he was then, but they went to Bremerton. And Quincy's dad took a job at the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then are you going to talk about the brother?
I thought you would know about this because
I did not know about this.
Also, while they were in the area, Quincy Jones had a younger brother named Lloyd, and he was an engineer at Como TV until he passed away in 1998. Now, you were in the building with Como TV in the 90s, but you don't remember Lloyd Jones.
No, I do not.
Okay. Maybe he didn't go by Lloyd Jones. I don't know.
He probably did.
Yeah. Regardless.
That's pretty cool.
Had a massive impact on the music industry, and he will be missed.
Quincy Jones, that is, yes.
Yeah. So, and always went to Garfield High School.
No way.
Yeah.
Did you know that Quincy Jones was from around here?
No, I just found that out when I was looking things up. How did we not know that? Why would that not be, up there in the list of Jimi Hendrix in Seattle?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, so
it's a huge loss to the music world.
Without question.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this happens every year, and often we disagree, right?
Oh, yes.
And this year is no different. The Collins Dictionary has just announced their word of the year. And should we just say some of the ones that they had to choose from? They passed on words like
brain rot,
the inability to think clearly caused by excessive consumption of low-quality online content.
I'm going to use that in a sentence when I see my daughter Macy.
There you go. One of the words could have been delulu, utterly mistaken or unrealistic in one's ideas or expectations. Is that kind of slang for delusional?
Yeah, I think so.
I will never, and outside of this one time, right now, I will never say delulu again. I promise you that.
Delulu.
Yapping was one of the words that could have been the word of the year. Talking at length, especially about inconsequential matters.
Our show?
Yeah, that could be. Looks maxing, which is attempting to maximize the attractiveness of one's physical appearance.
Look maxing. Raw dog. Are we saying that?
You just about did. The act of undertaking an activity without preparation, support, or equipment is called rawdogging. But
I had to ask someone what rawdogging was because someone was talking about it in a sexual way.
And that's how I knew of it as well. But apparently it's anything you're unprepared for, I suppose.
Okay.
Let's leave it at that. But the word of the year, according to Collins Dictionary, is brat. Brat. They define brat as characterized by a confident, independent, and hedonistic attitude. Hedonistic? It's a little
Can
odd.
you define hedonistic?
To me, that means Sodom and Gomorrah type stuff. You go ahead and look
Siri.
it up. All right. Well, you go ahead.
What does hedonistic mean?
Did you get it?
Hedonistic means engaged in the pursuit of pleasure, sensually self-indulgent.
Huh?
That's a brat, huh?
I suppose. It was inspired, the word brat, by the Charlie XCX album, Brat, which led to the Brat Summer phenomenon along with several Brat memes. Of course, we didn't see any of these because we don't pay that much attention.
What?
Charlie XCX describes Brat like this. You're just like that girl who's a little messy and likes to party and maybe says some dumb things sometimes.
And that's our word of the year.
She feels like herself, but then also maybe has a breakdown, but kind of like parties through it, is very honest, very blunt, and a little bit volatile. Sounds like a party person.
This is where our world is.
That is
Welcome.
where our world is. Yeah. Enjoy that. That is the word of the year, but you're going to use what? Oh, brain rot.
Brain rot.
Brain rot is the word you
maybe what was anti-tourism? What's that about?
Anti-tourism was another one of the words that was considered opposition to or action against large-scale tourism. I guess that includes like cruises and planned vacations and what have you.
Okay.
That's delulu.
Brat, everybody. The word is brat. Use it in a sentence today. Here's what you can use in a sentence today. A word I learned through my roommate Jackie's dating adventures.
Who is a brat?
No, she's not a brat. She's
Okay.
opposite of a brat. I learned with her in the dating world.
What did you
I'm
learn?
Thankfully out of it.
What did you learn?
I learned that, she called me and said, I saw this guy online. He's like totally my type. Looks super nice. Sounds nice. Until I read this, Jen. I prefer a stag and vixen lifestyle. Look it up. That's what it said in his profile. And Jackie said, so of course I looked it up.
Can I guess what it is?
Sure.
Is it like an open relationship where, stag and vixen, like he's the stag and the she be the vixen, and I don't know. What does it mean?
Yeah, you're close, but except for it's not a full open relationship.
Is it just very traditional?
If he's the stag, you marry the stag, right? Now we'll just say that Henry is the stag. Mm-hmm. And then Jane marries Henry. So Henry then can put his vixen out to other men.
His vixen being Jane.
Yes. Jane will go to other men on his permission. Like he will determine who she goes to, and he will watch, maybe partake, but mostly watch. But he's in charge of letting, so basically open relationship for her with his
Permission.
I guess.
Why did we put that in here?
Because it was interesting to me. And then another term I learned is Jackie said, I don't want to kink shame. And I'm like, well, that's a new term for me too.
Well, I know
everybody, you know what? To each their own. All I'm saying is that I didn't know that was a thing or had a label.
I'm sorry. If your thing is having your girlfriend or wife go off with other people, I think that's kind of gross.
For you, right? For me too, but for others,
and should be for everybody.
We shall not judge.
I will die on that.
I'm just saying. I'm just educating. I'm sharing my learning with others.
If both people in a relationship want to keep it as an open relationship, I think that's their choice, and that's fine. It's not for me, but that's fine. But sending your vixen out?
Let's just move on to more
Happily.
festive holiday-y things.
This is kind of weird. We should start every one of our stories like that. This is kind of weird.
Wait, I walked up to the Kruse door today when we were doing the podcast.
Sorry, I skipped something. I went down to here, but yeah.
Well, this is weird too, because
It's not weird.
I walked up and I'm like, there's a Christmas wreath on the door.
Yes, there was.
What happened to Thanksgiving? I walk in the door and it's like a freaking Hallmark movie channel Christmas movie.
Right.
In the Kruse house. The Christmas tree is decorated and lit up. There's lights and Christmas decorations throughout the whole house as I walk upstairs to come into the room where we podcast. There's decorations up the hallway. And then as I walk in the room, there's a second Christmas tree already decorated. Mm-hmm. And what is the date today? The date is November 4th. Congratulations, Curt Kruse.
You used to brag about how early you got your stuff done.
No, I always wait until the day after. I might put a few things here and there, maybe, but I wait until Thanksgiving.
Okay. Well, we did not.
I know, and it looks beautiful.
Here's the deal. This was actually kind of spawned by the fact that I took some things to our storage unit, and to do that, I used a trailer, which is parked in our garage.
Yes.
So I pulled the trailer out of the garage, and I was like, oh, well, that's where the Christmas trees are. They're up there.
We may as well get them down.
We got to get them down when we
them.
can. Yes, and so that's what happened. But I think she did a fine job.
It's beautiful. Okay. I'm saying it's beautiful. I was surprised.
Early.
Yes.
Okay.
But that's how you spent your weekend.
A part of my weekend, yeah, doing that. But she did most of it. I was the fluffer.
Oh. Do you know what a real fluffer is?
Oh, yeah. That was for you, Jen Pirak, and I knew you would giggle. My job, we put up the tree, and these are artificial trees, right? And so somebody has to go through each and every branch, and what do?
Fluff them.
That's right.
You fluff them up.
Fluff them.
All right, let's talk about the next thing. This show is going to hell in a handbasket quick.
It's pretty bad. All right. This is just odd. You've heard the phrase before. I will drink the tears of my rival. I will drink the tears of my enemy.
Here we go. We're getting better.
Yeah, there you go.
We're resetting. Okay,
yes.
Here we go.
You may have heard, if you're a passionate sports fan, maybe you said after a loss or after your team has a big win, I'm going to drink the tears of the other people, right?
That's how I say it when I say those words too.
The other people. Of course, they don't literally mean drinking tears. That would be kind of weird, but now it could actually happen. I'm going to hit this real quick.
Fireball.
Fireball Whiskey is doing something called Crier Ball.
Stop it.
Crier Ball.
Right now.
Which embraces competitive spirit by blending Fireball with the actual human tears of losers.
Come on. How are they collecting those? So if you lose, they're paying you for your tears?
Evidently,
that's going to be salty.
The Fireball peeps are going to 6 big rivalry games this month, 3 college football games, and 3 NFL games, and they will have people stationed at the exits where they'll be asking losing fans to donate their tears.
This is so gross.
I agree. Every drop, every tear will be captured and then stored in sealed, sterile jars, then safely transported to a secure facility for storage and distillation. And then suggest that these particular Fireball whiskeys might taste a little saltier. See, because of the tea.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not on board with this.
This is just
at
gross.
All.
There's no way. I mean, okay, so maybe they're saying.
Does it have to do they have to what do you call it? Like barrel age the tears?
I don't know. But when it says it's transported, storing and distillation. So maybe distillation is a purifying thing because you cannot drink other people's secretions.
This I cannot.
The process is going to take months, and the bottles of Crier Ball will be made available in time for next year, the 2025-2026 season. It is vague how the rollout will happen then.
We got to just move on. This is just, I thought we were resetting for something better.
Well, it's better. It's still kind of gross, right? I don't know. Okay, here's one that Jen loves.
Guess it's better than other things you could drink.
Why? Why? You were the one
because
that said
we've already been there. That's
you said
why.
move on.
We're
and
just
then-
down that road and we can't get off of it.
I guess it's better than other things you could drink.
Things that you can do to make your kids more resilient.
Yes.
All right. This is where it turns around right here officially. Parenting is hard, and you want to make sure your kids don't get hurt, but you also need to prepare them for the tough world ahead. So how do you go about that? Mm-hmm. There's a pediatrician that said, do what you can to foster a healthy resilience.
And I would think, I don't have kids, but I know how my wife treats Bella the Beagle. And Bella is not resilient at all because any little thing, like, oh, what happened to you? Are you okay? That's what this is talking about, giving some kids some resilience by, unfortunately, letting them, I guess, make mistakes.
Right. Well, that's the first one.
Right.
That's the first thing. Don't be afraid to let your kids fail. There's a lot they can learn from failure. Mm-hmm. It's not about if you fall. It's about getting back up.
There you go.
Allowing your kids to worry, shutting them down by saying, don't worry about it, can do more harm than good. I mean, these are good lessons for us too, not just kids. Help them imagine the worst and best case scenarios is a good thing to do. It's never as bad as you think. It could always be better.
Okay. A couple more. How about teach your kids how to value their own personal growth by devaluing external validation. That's like love yourself first, right? Measure their performance based on their own expectations, not by what someone else might think.
That's a hard one with the social media.
Well, these are also hard for adults.
Yeah, for sure.
And finally, focus on the process, not the outcome. It's not about who wins or loses, but who has the most fun getting there.
Okay. As Curt holds up his chili certificate.
I know. And we're bragging about being number 2, by the way.
You know what?
What?
I don't know about that one. I mean, yes, you should absolutely enjoy the process, but have a competitive spirit about you too. Like if you're going to play the game, play to win.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't say don't try. But then once you're done.
But here's a trier trophy for you.
I didn't say there's a trier trophy. Participation. I like trier better.
Trophy.
It's a trier trophy. No, but that's but also be in loss. You still need to be a good sport.
Oh, you do?
This is true about Jen Pierrick, by the way. Have you ever seen somebody in their...
I try to be kind, but when I lose, I'm not good.
Temper tantrums, people.
I'm just kidding.
Temper tantrum.
I am not. I just get pissed off with myself when I don't perform well.
Well, sometimes you're outperformed by other people who, I don't know, or maybe had a better day. Doesn't mean they're better than you.
All right.
Guy paddled 45 miles down a river for a new world record. He's 45 miles down a river. The new world record is...
In a pumpkin.
That's the thing. The giant pumpkin, he grows... This is a guy named Gary Christensen from Oregon. He grows pumpkins, but decided to do something even bigger. He took a giant pumpkin, cleaned it out, of course.
Yeah.
And he paddled this pumpkin down the river for a new world record of 45.67 miles.
Holy crap. Mm-hmm. He even named his pumpkin?
Punky Loafster. Oh, he named it that because it has a bread loaf-like looking sides to the gourd.
Bread loaf-like sides?
It looks like a bread loaf.
Okay.
On the sides there.
He paddled his way to win the West Coast Giant Pumpkin Regatta. I didn't know there was a West Coast Pumpkin Regatta. Did you remember we looked this up last week and it was in a different country? I had no idea they did that here too.
Are we getting into it next year? Are you going to sit in a pumpkin?
I don't even like kayaks. I don't think a pumpkin's going to do me very well.
I wonder if a pumpkin is even less, even more tipsy than a kayak. I'm going to say it is.
Do they literally sit in the whole pumpkin or do they have legs, their legs stick out of the pumpkin?
No, they sit in the whole pumpkin.
Okay.
I can show you a picture later, but just imagine a giant pumpkin with a dude in it.
Congratulations, Gary from Oregon. We are very proud of you in the Pacific Northwest.
And here's an accomplishment. I would say this is an accomplishment, yeah?
Go tell me. I don't know what it is.
This is data from the Secretary of State's office here for the state of Washington, reveals that more than 2.3 million Washingtonians have already cast their ballots. That's a voter turnout of almost 50% so far.
Oh. I mean, 50% more have to vote. We should be 100% voting.
Right. And there's still a few days.
Good for you.
There's not even a few days. There's a day.
2 days.
Well, today and tomorrow.
Monday, Tuesday.
So
cast your ballot.
Yeah, 2.3 million. So I guess we
Cast your
congratulations. Yeah, to everybody.
Yeah, that's great.
That's all that I had on that story. Is that
all
okay?
right, but you were going to tell us about daylight saving time.
I'm not telling about it.
All right, I will.
What a punk. What a brat. I'm not talking about it.
Daylight saving time ended yesterday, and if you're feeling it right now, you're not alone because 7 in 10 Americans say changing the clocks messes with their mood, their energy level, and their ability to focus.
And this is not
as proven by this show today.
Right. This is not, you know what? That's a good point. This is not just like, oh, I overslept today and I'm a little bit out of it. This is like because of the change in, oh, it's dark now and it's light now. So yeah, about 70% of Americans, the older you are, the more likely you are to, what? Am I calling you old? Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah.
I'm reading from the page.
Earlier, you called me fat and ugly, so
that's
you may
not
as well
true.
call me old.
Take that back. That's not true. So the older you are, like 83% of boomers say that they're feeling this funk from daylight saving compared to about 5 in 10 Gen Zers. And about half of parents say shifting the clocks has a significant impact on their children's sleep patterns as well.
Well, you just feel off by an hour.
Right. Or, you know,
Well, because that's what it is.
Yes, I know. I was just thinking, I wonder how you would determine if it's you just feel off by an hour.
It's punchy today. It's punchy
There's
time.
no question we're punchy today.
Okay, can I push a button?
Yeah, that one's fine.
What candy bar best describes your partner? That's a question we asked. Can I just say am I allowed to say this? I'm going to say it anyway.
What?
We're just saying anything we want anyway on the podcast
You're a
today.
little disappointed?
Yeah, in the result, like people didn't really respond, so I just wonder if people didn't see it. Stupid Facebook algorithms.
Oh, that might be as well.
I really think that's it.
For the record, when we come up with these, we're like, we assume that if we don't get a lot of participation, then it was not a question that people enjoyed. Like, oh, that was not a good one.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, I thought it was a great question.
I did too. What candy bar best describes your partner? We did have some people respond, which thank you very much.
Yeah, and in fact, we said it could be best describes your partner or yourself. And Dorothy went for it. She said, for me, I'd have to say I'm an Almond Joy. It's one of my favorites, a little sweet, but a little bit nutty.
I love that.
Yeah, but then she's talking about her late husband. She says sometimes he had his head up in the clouds. So for him, I'd say Airheads.
That's
a
cute.
good one.
That's cute.
That is a good one.
I like it.
This is something for you to read because it's a little sketchy.
Well, okay. Tiger said about his wife, Shannon. We know Tiger.
And Shannon, yes.
That Shannon is a starburst because she's colorful and refreshing. Agreed. Oh, sweet and tastes good in my mouth. Okay, Tiger. Thank you so much. And I had the same answer for hot firefighter boyfriend, Pat, that Ann says about her partner.
Big hunk.
Big hunk.
I think that says it all right there. Barb says Snickers, sweet, salty, and a sense of humor. Good
Okay.
one. Oh, what did I say it was going to be? Dana would say for me?
Chunky.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, that was
I
mine.
think that's,
Chunky.
she would not say that.
But
Jenny said, my partner's like Almond Joy. He's very mellow and always has a surprise for me.
nice. Laurel with a good one. Steve is Mr. Goodbar. He's selfless and kind to everyone. I even went and bought him a Mr. Goodbar candy bar because he's the best.
Oh, that's nice. And she describes herself as Almond Joy. Not only is it my favorite candy bar, I try to be joyful most of the time.
Nice. And also, Laurel, you're correct about that being a great candy bar. A lot of people rag on the almond
I don't
bars.
like Almond Joy. Oh, Almond Joy. Yes, I
Yeah.
thought you meant Mr. Goodbar. I'm not a huge fan of Mr. Goodbars.
It's chocolate with a nut. It's wonderful. If you don't like coconut, I can see how people would say, I don't like almond.
What would you say about Dana? Did you think about that or not?
Well, you know what? The joke that I thought somebody would use is, my ex-boyfriend, zero, because he was a zero.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody
See,
did
and
that
for
one.
me, I was going to say I'm a whatchamacallit because I'm always like forgetting things, forgetting
a good
words. Yeah.
Would Dana be a sweet tart because she's sweet?
And tart
I don't
at
know.
the same time.
Yeah. Two.
Yeah,
Two
I
and
like
one.
it. Okay,
Push another button.
I will.
Are we ending the show?
Oh, shoot. No.
Okay. Well, this is the beginning and this is the end. Everything is up.
Oh, shoot.
That's fine.
Really screwed it up. This
No,
is
you
why
didn't.
This is why Curt touches the buttons.
40% of Americans. Is this sad?
Haven't made a friend in a year. I was actually thinking about that. Like, have you made a new friend this year? This past year?
Yeah, with
You have?
all the pickleball people. You know?
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't friends with all the pickleball people are Glenn and Lori, but also I don't think a year ago I was hanging out with the Alls.
Alls?
Yeah, so they're good peeps. So anyway, here's the deal: 40% of Americans say they haven't met a new friend in over a year, and a similar percentage haven't gone to a party in at least 6 months. Well, that is kind of
You just
a bummer.
become friends with me, and I will invite you to a party.
You will have no choice.
You'll have to go.
Yeah. So, but it's tough to make new friends when you get to be a certain age, you know? I think it's much easier when you're, when you're young, maybe you're in college, obviously you're meeting a lot of new people, but there are suggestions for and here's another one, 37% of people say they feel like they've been in a rut socially.
That makes my heart hurt.
So how about these suggestions for good ways to meet people and hopefully make new friends?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to run through this list. Volunteering is a great way to meet people with similar interests, goals, and that practice good social skills. Joining a club, again, similar interests. Using a meetup app.
Now, meetup apps are great because it narrows it down to, it's like, oh, I like beagles.
I'm a runner, or I'm a runner, or I like to kayak, or I like to go on hikes.
This one, though, is tough. It says a way of making new friends includes being yourself. The best friendships are built on being able to be yourself without worrying about what others think. But you have to be yourself and also
put yourself out there. Yeah.
People out there.
Exercising, then you can meet people at the gym or maybe join a team sport.
Right.
Take a community class. Making time for friends. That's the other thing, right? You got to make time for your friends. Otherwise, how are you going to cultivate the relationship?
And Jen, you are great about this because you are much, you guys should come out and we do. We go to, because we're kind of homebodies, Dana and myself.
I'm really pushing your social limits, aren't I?
Not just you, there are other people, but yes, you are a queen of that. And finally, trying new things is a good way to make new friends.
There's a theme there. I think the theme in this list of ways to meet new people is you got to put yourself out there.
Put yourself out there, do stuff, make new friends. That's awesome. And I'm very happy with the new friends that I've made, by the way.
I'm all about the more the merrier.
Have you made new friends in a year?
I mean, Lori and Glenn are newer friends. I mean, I knew Lori through my friend Stacy who passed away, but was never like good friends with her. So that's become a friendship. Some pickleball people like I've taken pickleball lessons with, but yeah, I like meeting new people.
It's good.
Good to have a social circle. I don't know. Kurt's having me push the buttons today.
Well, you seem to enjoy it.
Pushing buttons.
Buttons. All right, we're going to wrap up with this.
Yes.
Because we think that this is, well, I'll save it, right? This is Olivia Rodrigo.
She's the artist that sings I Forget What.
That's not the name of the song, but if somebody had a song called does she have a song called I Forget What?
No. I just am saying I forget what she's saying.
You know Driver's License and Deja Vu, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do, but I can never remember that that's her that sings it.
Well, Olivia...
She's a mega big star.
Big. She did an interview with Netflix, and she was asked about, it came around to, she was asked about her biggest red flag for dating. All right. So she replied with this, okay, a red flag. This is a very, this is what Olivia said. This is a very oddly specific question that I ask guys on first dates. I always ask them if they think that they would want to go to space. This is her test, I guess, on a first date. She asked guys.
Do you want to go to space? If you had the opportunity to go to space, would you?
Right.
And?
If they say yes, I don't date them.
That's her biggest red flag. Why?
The reason is, she says, I just think if you want to go to space, you're a little too full of yourself. I think it's just weird. I am of the thinking that if anybody said, hey, do you want to go to space? Absolutely.
Me too.
What an experience.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean you're full of yourself. That means you're up for adventure. And don't you want to be with someone who's adventurous?
How many opportunities will you get to go to space? How many have you had in your life so far?
0.
Me too.
Except for at Space Mountain.
That's true.
At Disneyland.
Yes. So, I don't know where this came from or why she thinks people are full of themselves because they want to go to space. So do you want to go to space? Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, if they said no.
And then she's like, I'm out of here.
You know, if I was using this as my test of a red flag, if they said no, I probably would say, okay, I don't want to date you.
The opposite, yeah.
Yeah.
How would you not want to go to space?
Someone that, has a sense of curiosity. I think that's it too, right? Mm-hmm. That if you are saying yes, I think that offers a sense of curiosity. Now, if they have kids, I can see why they might say no, but there's a good reason for that.
Right.
I would like to, but I have kids and I want to be around for them.
About parachuting.
Yeah.
It's like, I'd love to do it, but I've got kids, too risky. So
yeah.
We disagree with Olivia, but to each their own, right?
Yep.
We don't want to yuck her young.
Speaking of to each their own, we want to know what if you were in the dating world or if you're in the dating world, what are your red flags? What would your red flags be?
Right.
For real. Like, let's push out the obvious stuff. Well, I mean, I guess they're not so obvious. Nothing's obvious.
Right.
Forget
but
it.
Let's keep it to just one. Come up with the biggest red flag for you, because I could probably come up with 30 right now.
Well, I mean, I was going to put out the, like, if you don't drink or if you don't smoke, then you don't want smokers. Or if you don't do drugs, you don't want that. Like, let's get a little bit creative on that.
Like, I don't talk to my mother. You might say, oh, that's
a red flag. Yeah.
Or maybe it's not.
I want to explore that more. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's what you have to do. You don't have to, but we know you want to.
Go to Facebook, Curt and Jen in the morning.
Mm-hmm. While you're liking us or following us or
yes, that's
all that
right.
stuff, share your dating red flag. We'll make it red flag. So
yeah.
That's going to be tough to narrow down for some people, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, just pick one of your list, because I think that there should be a list of red
I imagine
flags.
we'll have a lot of similar ones.
I hope we get different ones.
Okay.
But do you.
Okay.
All right. That's it. Closing music. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you. Every day, we really appreciate you tuning in and listening and putting up with us.
Hot Mess Express today. A little bit of a Hot Mess Express, but you know what? That's part of the fun and adventure, isn't it? You just never know what you're going to get.
We were kind of raw dogging it today.
Like us, follow us, subscribe. That's what we need from you if you don't mind. Thank you for being here, like we said. Make good choices, find joy, spread kindness.